The words hit like a fist to the gut, sharp and sudden, stealing my breath. I stood frozen in our cramped apartment kitchen, the air heavy with the scent of burnt toast and her lavender perfume. Lena's eyes, usually warm like honey, were cold, slicing through me as she leaned against the counter, her arms crossed tight. The clock on the wall ticked too loudly, each second a hammer against my skull. Never with you again. The phrase echoed, a cruel riddle I couldn't unravel. My mouth opened but no sound came out. What had I done? What had she done? I replayed the morning in my head, searching for clues. We'd woken tangled in the sheets, her laughter soft as she teased me about my snoring. But something was off, her smile didn't reach her eyes. When I leaned in to kiss her, she'd pulled back, muttering about her period, her voice clipped. I'd pressed, half joking, "When can I have you back then?" Her reply wasn't a joke. It was a blade. The apartment felt smaller now, the walls closing in. The chipped mug she loved sat on the counter, lipstick smudged on the rim, red, not her usual pink. My stomach twisted. "Lena," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "What's going on?" She didn't answer, just stared at the floor, her fingers fidgeting with the hem of her sweater. The silence was suffocating, thick with secrets. I thought back to the past few weeks. Small things I'd brushed off. Her phone buzzing late at night, her quick swipes to dismiss notifications, her sudden girls' nights that left her coming home at dawn, her hair smelling faintly of cigarette smoke she didn't touch. I told myself it was nothing. Lena loved me. We'd built 3 years together. Lazy Sundays, whispered promises, her hand in mine during my dad's funeral. But now her words carved out into my bones. "Lena, talk to me," I pleaded, stepping closer. She flinched, and that small movement was a crack in my heart. "Is there someone else?" The question burned my throat, but I had to ask. Her eyes flicked up, wide for a moment before narrowing. "Don't make this about you, Mark," she snapped, her voice sharp but trembling. "It's not always about you." Her deflection was a red flag, waving in the haze of my confusion. I wanted to scream, to shake her, to demand answers, but my legs felt like lead. Instead, I sank into a chair, the wood creaking under my weight. The kitchen light flickered, casting shadows across her face. She looked like a stranger. The day dragged on, each moment a slow drip of dread. Lena left for work, her bag slung over her shoulder, her goodbye curt. I stayed behind, pacing the apartment, my eyes catching on details I'd ignored. A receipt for a bar I didn't know, tucked under a book. A scarf I didn't recognize, draped over the couch, smelling of cedar and musk. My mind spun, weaving excuses. She'd borrowed it, maybe, or bought it secondhand. But the truth gnawed at me, relentless. I opened her laptop, guilt prickling my skin. Her password, our anniversary, unlocked it easily. My heart pounded as I scrolled through her messages. There it was, a thread with Alex. Emojis, late-night texts, a photo of her laughing in a dimly lit booth, his arm around her. My chest tightened, breath shallow. Alex. Her coworker. The one she'd called just a friend, when I'd met him at her office party, his handshake too firm, his smile too knowing. I wanted to believe it was innocent. A misunderstanding. But the messages were intimate, flirty, laced with a familiarity that wasn't mine. "Miss you already," he'd written last night. "Can't wait to see you," she'd replied. My vision blurred, tears mixing with rage. I slammed the laptop shut, the sound echoing like a gunshot. When Lena came home, the air crackled with tension. She dropped her bag, her eyes narrowing as she saw my face. "What's wrong with you?" she asked, her tone defensive. I held up the scarf, my voice low. "Whose is this, Lena?" Her face paled, but she recovered quickly, scoffing. "It's mine. Why are you acting like this?" "Don't lie to me," I said, my voice breaking. "I saw the messages. Alex. All of it." The words hung between us, heavy and final. Her shoulders slumped, and for a moment, I saw guilt flicker in her eyes. But then she straightened, her jaw tight. "You went through my stuff?" she shot back, turning it on me. "That's low, Mark." The argument erupted, words flying like shrapnel. She accused me of being paranoid, controlling. I accused her of betraying me, of throwing us away. "I trusted you," I shouted, my voice raw. "I loved you," She flinched, tears welling, but her voice was steady. Maybe I needed more than you could give, she said quietly. Maybe I needed to feel alive. Her confession was a sledgehammer, shattering the last of my denial. I saw it all now. The late nights, the excuses, the way she'd stopped saying, "I love you" first. I'd been blind, clinging to a version of her that didn't exist anymore. But beneath the anger, guilt gnawed at me. Had I pushed her away? Was I too distant, too caught up in my own world? The questions tore at me, leaving me raw. I sank onto the couch, my head in my hands. Lena stood across the room, her arms wrapped around herself, tears streaking her face. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she whispered. "Alex. He was there when I felt alone. You were always working, Mark. Always somewhere else." Her words stung, but they weren't entirely wrong. I'd been distracted, burying myself in deadlines, assuming she'd always be there. The room was quiet now, the storm spent. I looked at her, searching for the woman I'd loved, but all I saw was a stranger wearing her face. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked, my voice hollow. "Why didn't you try?" She shook her head, her voice barely audible. "I don't know." I stood, my legs unsteady, and walked to the door. "I need time," I said, grabbing my coat. As I stepped into the cold night, the city buzzed around me, car horns, distant laughter, the hum of life. I walked aimlessly, the scarf still in my hand. It sent a reminder of her betrayal. My heart ached, torn between love and hate, forgiveness and rage. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Lena. "I'm sorry. I'm pregnant." "It's not yours." The words burned into my eyes, a final twist of the knife. I stopped under a street lamp, the light casting long shadows, my breath visible in the chilly air. The world tilted, and I laughed, a broken, bitter sound. She'd taken everything, my trust, my future, my heart. Yet as I stood there alone, I wondered if I could ever let her go. The pain was unbearable, but so was the thought of a life without her.